33 Two Kinds of Defeatism. May 25, 1943. My German friends, after the defeats of the German armies in Stalingrad and Tunis, the feeling has become strong among you that everything is surely in vain. People call this defeatism, and the dictators are attempting to do everything to combat this frame of mind. They punish everyone who gives expression to feelings of futility. They intentionally use a hateful word to cast suspicion on the true instinct of the nation. It is as if the captain on a ship that is sinking would conceal from the passengers that the ship is lost and would forbid the lifeboats to be lowered. He knows that he can no longer save himself and prefers that everyone be sunk with him. The dictators are now doing exactly the same thing. They know that the ship into which they've lured their nations is sinking, but they want the German people to sink with them. To know that the ship is sinking is called defeatism. To see that the water is already penetrating everywhere into the hold of the ship is called despair. Closing one's eyes before that which is. This is called bravery. My German friends, don't be misled by the word defeatism. Take on the responsibility of being branded as defeatist for the sake of the truth. There are two kinds of defeatism. The one sees the end after every defeat and hastens the coming of the end. No one approves of this defeatism. It is the attitude of the traitors, those who are sad when things go better than they thought. Every nation must defend itself against those kinds of defeatists. But there is yet another kind of person who sees defeat and disaster. They see what is actually coming within them as a deep fear. They are, if anything, prophets. Jeremiah was such a prophet. He took upon himself the difficult work of foretelling the destruction of Jerusalem. He was hated and unpopular, just as he would be today with the Nazis. In that respect, the ancient Jews and today's National Socialists are completely alike. They put up with no one who announces defeat at that time. They were called prophets of disaster. Today they are called defeatists. There is one characteristic that distinguishes the prophet from the defeatist chatter. The prophet announced his disaster because he grasps that the disaster is judgment. Jeremiah based his visions of destruction not on the fact that he saw the superior power of the empires, but rather on the fact that he recognized the injustice of his people. Injustice destroys a nation. That was the point of view from which the prophets announced the inescapable judgment. Their defeatism was their knowledge about divine justice. Germany must be defeated for the sake of the injustice that is occurring within it and through it. Defeat is not necessary because the empires are stronger than Germany. Certainly they are stronger, but they are so because German injustice has united them. They are stronger because the German soldiers and laborers are being weakened by inner doubt. Even the strongest person becomes weak when he no longer believes that justice is on his side. Weren't the surprising defeats of the German troops at Stalingrad and in Tunis perhaps based on the fact that suddenly the question became living in many? What is this for? Is it worth dying for the sake of injustice? A soldier who puts such questions can no longer fight to the death. If we ourselves were to imagine for a moment that the structures of National Socialism were erected to be lasting, that the concentration camps and the hatred were to remain in power forever, we would have to despair over the moral order of the world. For this reason, as difficult as being conscious of defeat is for every German, he must have the strength to say yes to it. Because the defeat of Germany is the defeat of one of the most horrifying systems of injustice that has ever been. When National Socialism seized Germany, there was only one salvation for Germany: the disaster of war and defeat. For the defeat of injustice is ultimately salvation and not disaster. My German friends, when you see the disaster today that is inevitably drawing near and you are called prophets of disaster, then you are, in truth, proclaimers of salvation. For no salvation is possible until the dominion of injustice is broken. The approach and defeat of Germany is not the last word. It is the liberation from that which would make any future impossible. It is the judgment that must precede a new beginning.